There is a Buddhist parable that is approximately 2,500 years old. A man is being chased by a tiger. Running for his life, he reaches the edge of a cliff and grabs a vine, lowering himself over the edge. He looks down. A second tiger waits below. He looks up. The first tiger paces above. He looks at the vine. Two mice, one white, one black, are gnawing through it. And then he notices something. Growing from the face of the cliff, within reach, is a wild strawberry. He picks it. He eats it. And it is the sweetest thing he has ever tasted. That story has survived 2,500 years because it is not a metaphor. It is a description of the situation every human being is in, at all times. What has changed is that we now live inside a $500 billion industry, specifically engineered to make sure you never notice the strawberry.
Welcome back to the Promethean Depths. I'm Solon.
Zale. Today we go into the tiger story, not as a feel-good meditation on presence, as a forensic examination of why the present moment is the most contested real estate on Earth, and who profits from your inability to occupy it. Because the Buddhist monks who preserved this parable were making an observation about the structure of human suffering, and the engineers at Meta and TikTok and Google studied that same structure and built an industry on it. This episode connects those two things with documented evidence and asks the question, what would it actually mean to eat the strawberry in 2025?
Everything in this episode is on the record. The Buddhist parable is from the Maharatnakutta Sutra, preserved in the Pali Canon. The corporate research is from internal documents leaked by Frances Haugen in 2021 and published by the Wall Street Journal. The neuroscience is peer-reviewed. The philosophical frameworks are Hermetic, Stoic, and Buddhist, all of which converge on the same answer from 3 different civilizations. That convergence is not an accident. It is the most important data point in this episode.
Stay with us, because in the second half, we're going to do something specific. We're going to name what the 2 tigers actually are in your life right now. Not metaphorically, specifically. And we're going to give you the one practice, documented across 3 philosophical traditions spanning 2,500 years, that the tiger story was always pointing toward. That's worth the hour.
Let's unpack the story properly. The tiger behind you is the past. Everything that already happened. The regrets, the losses, the decisions you can't unmake, the version of yourself you can no longer be. The tiger behind you is real, but it is behind you. It cannot catch you in the present moment unless you turn around and run back toward it, which most people do, involuntarily, several hundred times a day. The tiger below is the future. Everything that hasn't happened yet, but might. Financial collapse, health failure, relationships ending, death, yours, or someone you love. The future tiger is also real, but it is below. It cannot reach you until you fall, and you have not fallen yet.
The mice are the detail that most people miss when they hear this story. The white mouse is daytime. The black mouse is night. Together they represent the passage of time, the irreversible erosion of the vine that is your life. Every day that passes, the vine is shorter. The mice don't stop. They don't negotiate. They don't care whether you spent the day present or anxious. They gnaw. This is not a pessimistic observation. It is the most clarifying one in the story. The vine is finite. That fact is not a source of terror. It is the reason the strawberry matters. Scarcity creates value. The present moment is scarce precisely because the mice never stop.
The strawberry. This is the entire story. The man does not defeat the tigers. He does not stop the mice. He does not climb back up or find a ledge to rest on. He finds a strawberry, and he tastes it fully. The Buddhist tradition is very precise about what this represents. Not escapism, not denial, not toxic positivity. It is the radical act of full presence in the only moment that actually exists. The past is memory. The future is anticipation. The present moment is the only place where life is actually occurring. The strawberry is the present moment tasted completely. That's it. That's the whole teaching. 2,500 years of preservation for one instruction. Be here.
Now let's talk about what the tigers look like in 2025. Because the parable was written for a world where the tigers were natural, mortality, memory, the passage of time. The modern world has added a third category, manufactured tigers. Threats that are not naturally occurring, but are deliberately engineered to keep your nervous system in a state of threat monitoring. Because a nervous system in threat monitoring mode is a nervous system that cannot occupy the present moment. And a person who cannot occupy the present moment is a person who will reach for the phone. And a person who reaches for the phone is a person who can be monetized.
In October 2021, Frances Haugen, a former Facebook data scientist, leaked thousands of pages of internal research documents to the Wall Street Journal. Those documents showed that Facebook's own researchers had found the following. The algorithm systematically amplified content that produced anger, anxiety, and outrage, not because these emotions were incidental byproducts, but because they produced the highest engagement metrics. The internal research team called this the integrity problem. Senior leadership reviewed the findings. They decided not to change the algorithm. The engagement numbers were too good. That decision is documented. It is not a theory. The company knew the tigers it was building. It built them anyway.
The neuroscience underneath this is documented and straightforward. The human threat detection system, the amygdala, is designed to prioritize threat signals above all other inputs. This was adaptive in an environment where threats were physical and time-limited. A tiger appears. You respond. The tiger leaves or you die. The threat signal ends. What the attention economy discovered, through billions of data points of A/B testing, is that digital threat signals don't end. There is always another threat in the feed, another outrage, another crisis, another thing to be afraid of. The amygdala cannot distinguish between a physical tiger and a news alert. It responds the same way to both, and a chronically activated amygdala is a chronically distracted one, unable to access the prefrontal cortex functions of strategic thinking, creativity, and genuine presence. You are not doom scrolling because you are weak. You are doom scrolling because your ancient threat detection hardware is being exploited by software designed specifically to exploit it.
Here is what I find most significant about the tiger story. The insight it contains, that the present moment is the only place life actually occurs, and that the primary obstacle to occupying it is the mind's tendency to live in the past or future, is not unique to Buddhism. The Stoics arrived at the same place. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Seneca wrote, "Omnia aliena sunt, tempus tantum nostrum." Everything is alien to us. Time alone is ours. The Hermetic tradition, in the Corpus Hermeticum, identifies the liberation of consciousness from temporal anxiety as the primary spiritual practice. 3 civilizations, 3 philosophical traditions, thousands of years of separation, the same instruction. When that many independent systems arrive at the same answer, that is not coincidence. That is a description of something structurally true about human experience.
Let's get specific. Because the tiger story is useless as a metaphor if it stays abstract. The tiger behind most people in this audience right now, if I had to name it, is one of 3 things. Financial regret, debt accumulated, opportunities missed, years spent in work that didn't build anything, relationship regret, the version of yourself you were before certain things happened, the people you've lost or damaged or failed to show up for, identity regret, the person you thought you'd be by now versus the person you are. any of those land, the tiger behind you is specific, not the past, a specific past. Name it, because a named tiger is one you can stop running from. An unnamed tiger just chases you indefinitely.
The tiger below, the future, is equally specific for most people right now. Economic collapse. Will I be able to afford rent, food, retirement, care for the people I love? Health. What is already growing inside my body that I don't know about yet? Civilizational. Is the world my children inherit going to be survivable? These are not irrational fears. The tigers are real. The Buddhist teaching is not that the tigers don't exist. It is that your relationship to the tigers, the amount of your present moment you spend living inside the threat they represent, is the variable you control. The tiger below cannot reach you until you fall. You have not fallen yet. What are you doing with the vine?
Stay with us, because in the next segment, we're going to give you the specific practice, not a general instruction to be present. The actual mechanism, documented across Stoic, Hermetic, and Buddhist sources, that the parable was always pointing toward. It takes less than 2 minutes a day. The research on it is unambiguous, and it is the direct countermove to everything the attention economy is doing to your nervous system. That's coming up.
The practice is sensory anchoring, and it is not meditation, not in the way most people think about it. It requires no silence, no special position, no 30-minute commitment. It is simply this: once per hour, for 30 seconds, direct your full attention to one sensory experience that is physically present. What you can see right now, what you can feel, the weight of your body, the temperature of the air, what you can hear that is actually in the room, not what you're thinking about, not what you're worried about, what is actually, physically, sensorily present. This is the strawberry, not the idea of the strawberry. The strawberry in your hand, in your mouth, with its specific sweetness and texture. That specificity is the entire practice.
The neuroscience of why this works is well established. Sensory anchoring activates the present moment processing networks of the brain and simultaneously downregulates amygdala activation, the threat response system that the attention economy is continuously stimulating. You cannot be in full sensory presence and in threat monitoring mode simultaneously. The brain cannot do both at once. This is not philosophy. This is documented in fMRI research on mindfulness and attention. John Kabat-Zinn's research at UMass Medical School, which launched the entire clinical mindfulness field in 1979, showed measurable changes in amygdala reactivity after 8 weeks of consistent, present moment practice. 8 weeks, 30 seconds an hour. The algorithm spends billions engineering distraction. The countermove costs nothing and takes 30 seconds.
The Hermetic principle of the present moment, which appears throughout the corpus Hermeticum and the Kybalion, is stated as the principle of rhythm. Everything has its tide. Everything swings. The past and future are the extremes of the pendulum. The present moment is the still point at the center, the only place from which the pendulum can be observed rather than driven. The Hermeticists called this the mental plane, the domain of consciousness operating at a frequency above the reactive, fear-driven swing of ordinary experience. The strawberry is the still point. The man on the vine who finds it is not escaping the tigers. He is demonstrating that the tigers do not have access to the present moment unless he gives it to them. That demonstration, repeated daily in small acts of genuine presence, is what they meant by mastery of the mental plane.
Here is the honest close. The present moment is the most contested real estate in human history right now. There is a $500 billion industry spending every working hour of every day trying to take it from you. They are very good at their job. They have the best engineers, the best data, and 2 billion test subjects. Against that, the tiger story offers something that looks, at first glance, like nothing. A man on a vine, a strawberry, the instruction to taste it. But what it actually offers is this: the recognition that the present moment is the one thing the algorithm cannot reach unless you open the door. It cannot manufacture the sensory reality of what is actually in front of you right now. It can only manufacture representations of what might be threatening you somewhere else. The strawberry is always more real than the feed. The practice is learning to remember that.
Prometheus gave humanity fire. In the tradition we work from, that fire is not literal. It is consciousness. The capacity to perceive clearly, to reason, to choose, to be present to one's own existence rather than driven by it. The tiger story is a flame, 2,500 years old, passed from hand to hand, preserved because every generation that received it recognized something true in it. It reached you today. The question is what you do with it, not what you believe about it. What you do. Find the strawberry. Today. Specifically, that is the whole instruction.
Here is the honest close. The present moment is the most contested real estate in human history right now. There is a $500 billion industry spending every working hour of every day trying to take it from you. They are very good at their job. They have the best engineers, the best data, and 2 billion test subjects. Against that, the tiger story offers something that looks, at first glance, like nothing. A man on a vine, a strawberry, the instruction to taste it. But what it actually offers is this: the recognition that the present moment is the one thing the algorithm cannot reach unless you open the door. It cannot manufacture the sensory reality of what is actually in front of you right now. It can only manufacture representations of what might be threatening you somewhere else. The strawberry is always more real than the feed. The practice is learning to remember that. This week, once per hour, for 30 seconds, full sensory presence. What you can see, hear, feel right now, not a thought about it. The actual thing. Set a phone reminder if you need to. That reminder is the algorithm working against itself. Use it.
And name your tigers, both of them. The one behind you, the specific past thing you keep running from, and the one below, the specific future thing you keep falling toward in your mind. Write them down. A named tiger is one you can stop feeding your present moment to. That's episode 9 of the Promethean Depths. If this landed, share it. Someone in your life is living between 2 tigers right now and has never heard this story. Give them the strawberry.
Subscribe. Leave a comment. What is your tiger? Past or future? We read everyone. We go deeper every episode.
Comment strawberry. If you already know how to find the present moment, comment tigers. If you're still living between them and today is the day you start looking for the vine.
Think for yourself.
Question everything.